Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers minute by minute. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johann.
And we are at minute 26. This minute starts with Zim asking if anyone has the guts to knock him down, and ends with Dizzy about to give an answer to Zim when he questions what makes her think that she is good enough. We get the answer to Zim's question, which is, who here thinks they can knock me down?
I like the confidence that he has when he says that. He's like, nah, who here thinks they can knock me down? He's kind of smiling about it, like as if, all right, I have to ask this question. It's so dumb. Like, he's not afraid of his troops at all. Like, he's so confident. Like, we said in the last minute, he's awesome. He's a man.
Yeah, it's pretty much him, kind of feeling out his recruits, because he knows, like, none of them probably have combat experience. They're all coming in from civilian life. So, let's see what they can do. He, undoes his Velcro, holster.
Yeah.
And, just kind of rubs his hands together. Come on, everyone, let's get going. It kind of is the same way in the book as well, too, where Zim in the book does straight up say, hey, anyone who wants to do a tumble, let's do it. And one of the first guys is Breckinridge.
Oh, I love this part so much in the movies. We talked about this, like, literally more than the shower scene later on in the next couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But so they get in their little tussle, and then he breaks his arm, like, in a really bad way.
Yes.
And then he turns to the camera, and he's like, "You okay, soldier?" He says, "I think so. I think my arm is broken." I think it's broken. And he turns, and even though it's like he's wearing a black turtleneck or a black sweater, whatever it is, the dark is much darker. So obviously it's full of blood. But that huge bump, we were laughing about this so much in the theater, and we were afterwards when we were talking about it, we were still laughing about it. I think it took like 3 weeks before that part died down for us. This was such a memorable part for me.
Yeah, definitely. Zim, kind of, waves him forward. Breckinridge puts his hand down and then rushes Zim, but Zim basically grabs his arm, flips him over on his back, gets down on his arm, gets down on his knee, and then takes his left forearm, pulls it back, and then breaks his arm at the upper forearm.
Yeah, he uses like his free hand, like I think it's his left hand, to act as a lever to break the arm.
And it just it looks like the bone pops out of the skin. Actually, you can see it. Yeah, as you said, through the turtleneck or the sweats, that it is like gooey and, watery or whatever it is in there. So bone is popping out of skin, and he's like, yes. He's like, you're right, son.
I don't think the bone was popping out, but it was definitely a fracture. Like,
I think it was. I mean,
well, the only reason why I thought it wasn't was because there's the curve on the sweater is rounded.
Yeah, because there's bone popping now. Oh, if it's sharper.
It would have been like straight down or something like that. But because it was like that, then I assumed it didn't break through the skin, but it was still funny.
I mean, I just think it did, just because, there's a lot of liquid. What else could that liquid be?
True. But that was one of the things. Like, did it break through the skin?
I mean, if Zim is willing to incapacitate his troopers like this, and as we'll see in the next couple minutes as well too, how fast it can heal them.
Yeah.
He pretty much would be willing to do whatever it takes to prove a point, and it includes popping a bone out of skin and, pretty much incapacitating him fully.
Oh, man.
And
the way medicine progressed in this world.
It's great.
Yeah.
And we'll see that later on in the movie too, about halfway through the movie, how fast medicine has progressed. Breckinridge rushes him. Everyone looks horrified when Zim breaks the bone as well too, basically showing, you know what, no, you're in the big leagues now. You're going to get hurt. People are going to die.
So here's a couple of things in the script that's a little bit different. Just a couple adds to talk about the medical advances in this movie. Mm-hmm. So he calls out the medic. Medic comes up, and the medic says, "Clean break. Doc will have him back on active duty by tomorrow."
Yeah.
So that's in the script. So I mean, it would have been interesting to, like, we see him in the lunch line later on with the thing around his arm, and you're thinking, like, oh, his arm's healing up and he's already using it. He's
holding
getting
up
better.
he's holding up a tray.
Yeah, so, but I think this was the one that they wanted to do, and maybe they didn't because, I don't know, cut down on time and paying an extra more royalty fees. But it's just kind of awesome that the way it would have introduced the world to medical advances. Because, you know, in certain movies, like, especially when you're dealing with fantasy and there's supposed to be magic in the world, you want to immediately hit off on something that shows the technology other than things you're more familiar with.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings in the book. I as much as I hate this character, and I know I'm not the only one, Tom Bombadil.
Everyone loves him.
Everybody hates him.
Okay. I love him.
There's people that love him and they hate him, but no one just dismisses him.
Mm-hmm.
Where he disappears and all that, that's supposed to introduce you to the world of magic, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this argument with people that love Tom Bombadil, but it's like, it's not like the world that talks about the Seven Rings and Sauron already didn't tell you about the world of magic. But regardless, this is kind of like, we'll quote unquote the Bombadil. This is your introduction to something that's different about this world.
Okay.
It's the medicine. That is something that, you can always have guns. You can always improve on guns. You can always have clothes. You can have transportation that advances, and until it becomes an actual teleporter in some way, because that one, it was a bullet train in the movie. The medical advancement is the Bombadil. Mm-hmm. This shows actual technology being sped up immensely.
The first time, yeah, we see this.
Because healing is natural in a sense. Medicine only enhances or assists natural healing. This is a huge advancement because it obviously bypasses the speed at which bones can mend itself together.
Well, we kind of see it a little bit earlier in the film as well, too, with prosthetics. I mean, the recruiting sergeant, he has lost everything.
Yeah.
But he still has the robotic arm, which, you know, kind of says, oh, well, at least prosthetics have advanced.
Yeah, but since they don't really show too much of what he looked like walking around without the feet. Well, no, okay, the prosthetics isn't too bad, I think. But I think giving him a new arm and new legs would have been a Bombadil.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
I think that's going to be my new thing.
Sure.
Like, to define it like a chain or like an introduction to something that's different is the Bombadil.
Yeah, let's coin a phrase.
Yep. All right. You heard it here first. Bombadil. That's going to be my word. I'm going to use it.
Hashtag Bombadil, everyone.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, he comes over. He's like, "Are you alright, son?" He's like, "Yes, sir. I think my arm's broken." And yeah, I laughed at this too in the theater because, I mean, it was hilarious. He's holding his obviously broken arm with something saying, "I think it's broken, sir."
This is the best part about how dumb Breckinridge is. He challenges him, kind of, like, he's
full-heartedly.
Not full-hearted, because he's like, I think I can.
And then, right? But he rushes him like a bull.
Yeah. But then he rushes him like a big farm boy. He's going to tackle the bull by the horns. Mm-hmm. He breaks his arm, and he tells him he broke his arm. This is basically how dumb he is. He begins and ends both statements with "sir."
Okay, yeah.
Like, adrenaline didn't come in, but his instinct of discipline and what he's learned, like, you know, that, like, in just the last minute, literally a minute, we have it timed. It's just the last podcast of the first and last words out of your mouth is "sir."
Yeah.
First and last mouth out of his mouth was "sir."
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is.
There's just a ton of likable characters, and Breckinridge is one of them. Even as the actor, I think he was in Major League 3?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Okay, yeah. And he was still, the movies weren't great, but he was still a good actor. Mm-hmm. And he was in those movies where I said, like, oh, he's that guy that was in Starship Troopers, Breckinridge.
So I actually remember him from another movie before Starship, Crimson Tide.
Never saw it, actually.
Crimson Tide's a great movie.
I know it is, but never saw it.
Okay. I recommend watching it at any point, especially for anyone listening to us as well, too. It is a sub-movie, And sub movies I actually absolutely love. Crimson Tide,
U-boat.
the U-boat, and what is it? Hunt for Red October, anything like that is like confined to the submarine.
See, I'm unfortunately at this place where there are so many movies I didn't get to watch as a kid that it's so hard to catch up at some point. It's weird because I got to watch Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, but I wasn't allowed to watch Fatal Instinct because it was going to be too adult. Have you seen Fatal Instinct?
No,
it's a parody of Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct.
No,
with Armando Sante.
Okay,
it's a comedy.
Yeah,
but it was considered too adult by my mom, so I couldn't watch that. So it wasn't until like a decade later that I was like, "Holy crap! I remember this movie," and like I finally watched it, and I was like, I don't see what was wrong about this movie.
It's kind of like being able to watch, all the James Bond films, but not being able to watch Austin Powers.
Yeah. But yeah. So I didn't get to watch a lot of the old James Bond's movies until I was older.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why this,
even the Roger Moore ones where he's like really, really tame?
No. Because he was,
wow.
I don't know. It's one of, my mom used to watch the 700 Club, if people are familiar with that.
Yeah.
If they say something is bad, we couldn't have it. I had to hide my D&D box set.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of my comics. Even my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
Yep. I was among the group that lost his He-Man because of Galaxy of the Universe. Yeah. Or Masters of the Universe, all that stuff. Yeah, I was among those people that lost it.
I'll straight up, applaud my mother right now. Shout out to my mom. You were great in that point because we did go to church and we were religious and everything. But at one point, we housed a Mexican, a missionary that went to Mexico, a Mexican missionary. But she was from the U.S. as well too. But she fluent in Spanish, and she straight up told me and then told my mom that I shouldn't be watching what I was watching. I think I was watching, I think Reboot or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was violent at the time. And I did have my polyhedron dice out as well too at the time. And she says, you're going to go to hell for like playing with this stuff and listening and watching that stuff. And she told my mom about it. And my mom told her to step off and mind her own business. So straight up, thank you, Mom. Yeah. You're great.
Well, your mom is awesome. I mean, I will put that on record. Mm-hmm. This is Johann Joseph speaking of his own free will. Matt's mom is awesome.
You can get out from behind him with that gun, Mom.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see Hunt for Red October because of those circumstances. There are a lot of movies I wasn't allowed to see.
Hunt for Red October is amazing.
But it was a war movie.
Okay.
So even if they could have been stuck in that whole submarine and talk about their life and their girlfriends and blah, blah, blah. And it would have been like, one of those coming of age movies, like an 18-year-old that steps up and like he's going to help his captain that came down with some sort of illness. But it was a war movie, so I wasn't allowed to watch it.
What about like K-19 Widowmaker with, what's his face?
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's a recent movie, not too recent. I think like late 90s, early 2000s, where it was Harrison Ford and he played a Russian sub-commander. But in that movie, there's a nuclear meltdown in the sub, and they all have to get out.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. I really don't.
Okay, yeah, I know all about all these sub movies. K-19, U-571, all
that one sounds familiar.
U-571 is a great movie. I think that has Matthew McConaughey in there as well, too.
We were able to watch those horror films because that one was something that my dad held near and dear to his heart. Okay. Horror films.
Okay.
Some sci-fi like Harryhausen movies. Mm-hmm. Like it was very limited. But once all of these ones start coming out about, which ones are against God and all that, and the world isn't coming to an end because of nuclear war, it's going to come to an end because of sin. Mm-hmm. So this was not realistic. I didn't get to watch these movies.
Gotcha.
So a lot of those I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see Broken Arrow, even though that's such a bad movie. Oh my gosh,
Broken Arrow is so good!
But it had to do with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And that was not realistic.
Wow. That's nuts.
I saw parts of it because of the trailers. Like, really. And I I only saw parts of the beginning and I realized I did not like this movie, just my opinion. And I just stopped watching it because there really was too many movies for me to try and catch up to that I'm still behind. So there's only a few movies I actually got to see. Sci-fi, yeah, absolutely got to see a lot of them. Anything that was easily seen as impossible, I could watch.
Okay.
But those types of movies, I could not.
Like, if it was in the realm of reality, yeah, you can watch it because of... So, like, Red Dawn, you probably wouldn't be able to watch either because...
No.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't get to. I know there was this thing about Indiana Jones, especially with Temple of Doom because of the Kali Ma and their religious background about it. But, of course, The Last Crusade we could watch.
Oh,
we saw that
really?
one in theaters, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I mean... To be honest, that is Last Crusade is the second best movie of that series anyway, so.
So, here's the weird thing. Couldn't see Raiders of the Lost Ark because...
It's Abrahamic, though. It's fine.
It's not New Testament.
I forgot Catholicism, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was that bad because it's like, it wasn't Nazis. It wasn't people dying for looking or soughting after the Ark of the Covenant. It wasn't New Testament. So, yeah, didn't get to see that. Then Temple of Doom was my first Indiana Jones movie. It wasn't Raiders.
Which is good because it's a prequel.
Yeah, I saw them in completely wrong order.
Okay.
I did not get to see Raiders until after Last Crusade.
Wow.
In fact, there's even certain things like, I don't know why I wasn't allowed to see Empire Strikes Back. I did not see it until the new trilogy was about to come out.
Whoa! So you never saw the original?
No, I saw. Though. We had the VHS. It even had on the back for rent only, not for sale.
Okay.
So we owned that, and then I went to the movie theaters. The first movie I ever saw in the movies was Return of the Jedi. So I went from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi. I did not have Empire Strikes Back in my life at all.
That's weird. I mean, that's good, though, because in, like, 97, they did a whole entire, like, reissuing of the original trilogy before the prequels came out.
Which I was grounded from seeing, so I never got to see it in theaters.
Oh, wow.
I never got to see Empire Strikes Back, like, until, like, I did it on my own. Like, when they re-released it, I was grounded for the entire, duration of its re-release in theaters.
That's nuts. I mean, but you had the original tapes from before the re-release, though, right?
No.
Okay, so you never saw the original series in its original cut, though?
No, not until the trilogy was about to come out, and then I spoke to a friend about it, and he's just like, are you kidding me? And he lent me the box set, and I watched it.
But
I've only heard of, like, scenes and all that, and this is before YouTube. Yeah. Like, well, at least relevance of YouTube and all that. So I never got to see the movie in its entirety. I knew certain things. I saw certain clips because they're always showing us, the titular scenes, where they say like, the screaming of the no, him hanging upside down, the mentorship of Yoda. Like, I knew those things, but I did not see the entire movie until like the second trilogy was about to be released.
You never knew how he got his hand cut off.
No, I did. It was so weird to me that he had a robotic hand. I'm like, when did that happen?
Well, it is the future. I mean, it can happen. Whatever.
No, but I didn't know he had a robotic hand the entire movie.
You just saw him get shot in the hand, and he's like, oh, wow, he got shot in the hand.
And when he cuts off Darth Vader's hand, I didn't know the relevance of it. Yeah. He's like, okay, so he's got a robot hand. Like, and he looks like a robot.
Yeah.
So all of these things were lost to me.
Wow. Man,
Yeah, because, my parents were getting divorced at the time of that re-release, so my dad was still holding on to the principles of my mom, so something happened. He got mad at me for, I think, because I wouldn't cut my hair. It was something like that. It was something really dumb. Because I had really long hair, and then he just grounded me for that because he knew I was excited for the movies.
Gosh, that's nuts.
Yeah.
But let's digress a little bit back into that. Yeah. I'll go back into Crimson Tide a little bit because Breckinridge does play a part in Crimson Tide. One of my favorite scenes, actually, and if you want to watch Crimson Tide with me, I think it's on Netflix. We can definitely watch it. All right. But in this scene, a sailor gets into a fight with another sailor who is Breckinridge, and they're just beating each other up in the mess hall. Now the whole entire ship is on edge because they're basically on a mission possibly to launch nukes at a rogue Russian government, a rogue Russian splinter group that has possession of a nuke. And they may be fueling it up, they don't know. But tensions are high. And the XO of the ship, Denzel Washington, he comes up to one of the sailors who's not Breckinridge. He's like, hey, what the heck was all that about? He's like, you're a supervisor. You should be calm and cool about this kind of stuff. And the sailor's like, yeah, I know. It's just a difference of opinion. I really feel sorry. He's like, well, what was it about? He's like, I really don't want to talk about it. It was really dumb. And I feel really stupid for even doing it. He's like, I don't care if you feel real stupid. What was the fight about? And he says, well, the other sailor, Breckinridge, basically says that, the Mobius Silver Surfer was the best Silver Surfer, but I believe that the Kirby Silver Surfer is the best Silver Surfer. And Denzel, he says, you shouldn't be fighting about this. This is really dumb. But anyone who knows comic books knows that Kirby Silver Surfer is the best Silver Surfer.
It is.
Yeah. But I mean, that part, especially because Breckinridge was the guy who liked Mobius instead. Yeah. Kind of stuck out to me a little bit too.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember.
But everybody knows Jack is the king for a reason.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Stan and Mobius did take over that book, and it got really weird, where he actually had a purpose instead of just being the scion of Galactus and everything. But yeah, I mean, I was in the comics at that point too, and that little scene just like, oh, that's awesome! Oh, they know it. But so Breckinridge was the guy who liked Mobius, so he is still dumb. Straight burn.
Yeah. Well, I guess like in that movie, like with tensions being as high as it was, anything could set you off.
Yeah, I mean, if someone,
people have been in relationships where it's like that.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, now you're going against a nuclear weapon. Tensions could be just a smite high.
Yeah. Breckinridge gets rushed off to the medics. Zim tells everyone. We'll digress back into the movie. Zim calls for medic, medics rush over, and Zim tells them, pain is in your mind.
Yeah. So there's also in the script, something that was a little bit cut out. Shujumi steps up to Zim.
Which is in the book.
Okay. So that was in there, and he tries to, go against Zim by keeping distance instead of coming up, because he's obviously sized him up like, this is not a person you can immediately get into a ground and pound or a grapple. Mm-hmm. So it says here that he tries to do a flip kick on Zim right in the head. And he doesn't get it. Zim sweeps his legs. Yeah. But then everybody's saying like, oh, like that guy's doing a pretty good job. I mean, yeah, I could see someone being might impressive on that. I mean, if you were going to go against your squad leader, and Shujumi wasn't the biggest, even in the movie, especially if you compare him to Zim and Breckinridge. Mm-hmm. If you see Breckinridge wanting to step up, you would let that guy go and see, okay, there's a good chance he might lose or win, but I'm going to see a weakness. Yeah. So.
Well, in the book, actually, Shujumi is a trained martial artist, so he knows what's going on, and it's later on. After their spar, because I think they actually come to a draw in the book, Shujumi and Zim. Zim asks him, hey, is your father this person? He's like, well, yeah. He's like, well, tell him that his student, wishes him well. So basically, Shujumi is the son of Zim's teacher for martial arts. Yeah. And that's why they did so good together.
In the script, here's something that let me see if this sounds familiar to you. So, Zim sweeps his leg, and Shijumi's on the ground. Mm-hmm. He drops his knee onto Shijumi's neck or throat until he passes out.
Kinda similar, but we'll probably get into that in the next minute.
But right?
Yeah, definitely. So. But yeah, he basically asks who comes up. He's like, well, who's next? And someone comes up and says that she's reporting for duty.
This person sounds awesome.
Yes.
Who is this? Is someone in the background?
Oh, she is dressed up in an MI uniform, straight ups, and she says, "Recruit Flores reporting for duty." Dizzy Flores.
The crowd goes wild.
Best girl.
Yeah.
Best girl's back, everyone. And she hands him her orders, and he asks her, "Why did you transfer?" And she gives Rico kind of a little bit of a look, kind of smiles a little bit. Rico looks back and looks just mad.
Yeah, he's being dumb. He doesn't know what he wants.
Well, no, he doesn't know what he wants, but he knows that she transferred for him.
I'd be flattered.
I would too, but I mean, he's not. He's mad because this little puppy dog girl is following him around.
I ought to tweet at Casper Van Dien now, tell him to reshoot it, and be happy.
Dear Mr. Van Dien, I have $11,000 I'd like to invest in a headcanon shoot of Starship Troopers where you and Dizzy get together.
Yeah.
Forever.
We'll just do stick figures for CGI.
Yeah.
But really, I just want the lines.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Can you come in for a couple readings and we'll just record from there? You can just phone it in, it's fine.
Yeah.
As long as it has your voice.
Yeah. And I just want to listen to it. Yeah, you can phone it in. You can have a cold. I don't care. It just needs to be your voice.
But yeah, she is chasing him. And Zim asks, you specifically requested transfer from Fort Cronkite to Arthur Curie because, and she's like, I heard it was the best, sir. He's like, it is the best. But do you think you're good enough?
Was Zim there? Of course it's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we need the whole movie to prove how awesome he is. But if someone says like, hey, this guy's the best, it'd be like, yeah, I believe it.
I mean, he's showing off right now how good he is.
Okay. It's not really a spoiler, but everybody's seen this movie.
No, it's a spoiler. Don't say it. We can't say it.
No, not him.
Oh.
Okay, but Johnny, Diz, and Ace.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the heroes that come on this movie. They all come from this guy's boot.
Yeah.
It is the best boot camp.
Yes, and as in the book, again, Arthur Curie is the best boot.
Yeah.
As well, too. So, Fort Cronkite, I actually looked this up. I think she means California Fort Cronkite in the Bay Area, which was a World War II artillery outpost trying to stop, Japanese subs and everything coming in from the Bay. Later on, it got used to house soldiers who maintained a local nuclear launch site in the Bay Area as well.
Have you ever seen Battery Park over it? It's awesome. Yeah. I love that place. I didn't know about it until I stumbled upon it. Like, I really had no idea where it was. Like, I was just driving down and then we were thinking like, oh, let's stop somewhere to take a picture of the bridge that isn't at the bridge. Yeah. So I was like, looks here like we can actually go to the beach from this. Pulled over, climbed the rocks, and the bridge is behind me on one of the photos. But then we were walking around going like, oh my God, this place is awesome. And this is one of those stupid moments. I thought I stumbled upon something nobody else did.
Oh, but as
the fog cleared up, you see everybody there going like, oh man, but it was awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately we're born too late to discover the world and born too early to discover space.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying my moment or my memory of that area. Mm-hmm. And that area is awesome. If you've ever been to San Francisco but never been to areas like Battery Park, go ahead and check it out. Those places are awesome.
Yeah, Marin County especially too is a gorgeous area to drive through. They got great restaurants as well up there too.
Yeah. Me and Matt, we obviously are big fans of U.S. history. Me, even as not being born in this country, I love U.S. history. But these are one of those areas where it's like, you have that feel of how everybody's fear of what was going to happen in World War II was in the air when you look at these areas. And now that it's just there's moss, there's all this grass covering over it, and it's just unused, you still have that feel. And it's really awesome to check that place out.
It really is. But yeah, so I assume that this is the Fort Cronkite that they were talking about, in California. I'm not sure. It's never stated anywhere else. And while Googling this is the only Cronkite that I came up with as well, too.
Maybe this is the journalistic Cronkite?
I don't
know. And this is where Kitten should have transferred since you want to be a journalist.
He wanted to be a writer, but yeah. I don't think they would,
so maybe he should have transferred here. Why'd you come over here? It's the best riding boot, sir. You are right. Pull up this chair and listen to the soft jazz that we have playing on the radio.
I'm Walter Cronkite, and I'm here to tell you that you are in for a great treat signing up for military intelligence.
If you feel like you need to leave at any time, have a tea sit down with your instructor and find out, what is it in your heart that you want to do? Do you want to abandon your ridership? Or would you like to pursue other artistic needs elsewhere? This and more. A Cronkite.
They did say that they would find a place for everyone who wanted to sign up.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would name a military fort where people are being trained to fight and kill after Walter Cronkite.
Who knows? There's obviously many camps at this point.
Definitely.
So they could have just we're running out of names. Cronkite. Wait,
sure.
No. I already wrote it down. I used voice of text and hit enter. Oh no. All right, Cronkite it is.
But that's where that minute ends, where Zim asked Dizzy what makes her think that she's good enough. Do you want to say anything else about this move?
She's good enough for me.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, not for Zim. Zim doesn't know her prowess. She doesn't care. She's a puke. She's a transfer from another place who probably made her puke as well, too.
If Zim is as awesome as we all think, I'm pretty sure he had an idea how awesome she was.
Oh, he'll find out in the next minute.
Oh, he did.
He will find out in the next minute.
And he does.
Yes, he does. But that's what we'll call that minute. But yeah, you guys can find us pretty much, if you guys want to, you can follow us on Facebook at the Roughneck Minute Village to continue the conversation about this kind of stuff. You can follow the show itself at the Roughneck Min on Twitter, or you can go to our website where you can find all of our past episodes and notes at theroughneckminute.podbean.com. Johann, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch at JDASHD26, as well as my Instagram. It's the same name.
And you guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere from Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. You can see pictures of my son tickling my feet because he just learned how to do that and he thinks it's hilarious.
Tickle. The son's adorable.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, you know what? I've been seeing a lot more downloads of our episodes, especially our past ones. Mm-hmm. And to all the people out there, especially the new listeners, want to thank you so much. Like, it may just be a little thing, but seeing that ticker go up, it definitely excites us in a way that we didn't think would be possible. Just to see that number all of a sudden jump up was such a thrill for us.
Definitely. I remember seeing us maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago going from 200 to where we are right now, which is like 580.
Yeah.
It's great. And I'm seeing a lot more people coming in from other parts of the world. Germany, Sweden, Canada, I think a few in Norway as well, too. Thank you guys so much for downloading and listening to us.
Yeah. To you in Canada, poutine rocks.
Oh, yes, it does.
I remember telling Matt he's got to try it when he went up to Toronto, and he did. And obviously, now poutine is a good conversation to have because it's so good.
But you guys are not going to go to the Cup next year. I guarantee that.
Yeah, maybe not next year, but
not next year.
Oilers actually have a really good chance.
They do, but there's probably going to falter again in the postseason.
Yeah, I think they put too many. They were overblessed with too many first round picks.
Exactly, but they're not going to get a cup this year. Call me out on it,
yeah.
Straight up. Fight me in real life. AltTabMatt at AltTabMatt. I'll fight you about hockey.
Yeah,
Canadians, let's go.
I base mine on goaltending.
Okay,
so my problem with them is their goaltending. They have good goaltenders, but they don't have the best.
Thank you guys again so much for listening to us. I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johann.
And we'll see you on the Bounce Troopers.